So, I wanted to talk to you guys today about imposter syndrome and how it relates to your ability to be vulnerable or lack of ability to be vulnerable. I was really thinking about what makes people feel as though they aren't welcomed in spaces, even when they are welcomed in spaces. And so, I think, obviously, there's the aspect of you're actually not welcomed in the space and you're kind of picking up that energy that they're projecting on you and you're taking it as your own, right? Um, but I think a part of imposter syndrome that a lot of people don't necessarily highlight is it could also be the an ability to feel vulnerable or comfortable enough to feel vulnerable in the space that you're in. So, what do I mean by that? So, if you are in a new space, right? Because 9 times out of 10, imposter syndrome is going to come because you're in a new space, you're doing something you've never done before. If you're in that oh my God. So, I'm trying to get this to work and stay. But if you are in this new space and you've never done this before, this is all new to you. Maybe you do have the certification, you have the education, but you've never actually physically completed these types of tasks before. So immediately your body is going into defense mode, like naturally, right? Because you're in an environment that's unknown. So your senses are high, and things like that. So the first thing about when you're having these imposter syndrome feelings is to try to regulate your nervous system and bring yourself back down to a okay. Bring your nervous system back down to a space where you feel a lot more comfortable and grounded, first and foremost. But then also, like, try to really get in tune with your id, right? So you have your super ego, your ego, and your id. And so trying to get more in tune with your id and see what is the root of what's like triggering you. Like, why are you being triggered in this space? And I believe a lot of times it's because we don't know how, or we are fearful of being vulnerable, fearful of saying, I don't know how to do this. I'm nervous about completing this task on my own. Um, and maybe I don't know how to do this, but I don't know I've never seen the consequence of this action on my own. You know what I'm saying? I've seen other people do this. I've practiced next to people, or same things like that, but I've never seen the actual consequence of this. So just making peace with the fact that you haven't seen the consequence of a situation. You don't necessarily understand how a result is going to come because you've never physically done it, right? It's like with driving and things like that. Like now when you drive, it's second nature to you, right? Like, okay, if I turn the wheel this much, it just your body is naturally responding to something because you've been doing it. And so with imposter syndrome, we're in a very vulnerable state. And so just give yourself a lot of grace, try to find trusted people who you can tell them, I don't understand this, or can you walk me through this, or can you just be a support as I do this? Um, and then most of all, just saying to yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I don't know. That's it. I didn't think of that. Just being able to understand, I don't want to say humble yourself, but more so humble your emotions and humble like your expectations. So, to kind of wrap things up about imposter syndrome and being vulnerable, I think the best thing to remember is that you are new in a space, okay? You're not an imposter, okay? You're not incapable of doing what it is that you have set out to do. However, you are a novice, you're fresh in the situation. And you're going to make mistakes and things are going to go wrong, and you're not going to know everything, and you're not going to know how everything's going to turn out, and a lot of things are going to feel like a risk. And I feel like if you're just vulnerable enough with yourself to acknowledge that and work through those fears and push through that, you try to find a support system to kind of bounce off and give you, that validation, because we all need external and internal validation. um, you'll be great, but just don't allow it to overwhelm you to the point where you project on other people your insecurities, um, or you just shut down altogether. Okay. That is my little spiel on imposter syndrome and being vulnerable. It just came to me this morning, so I thought I'd share with everybody. Please drop comments down below. Let me know how you deal with your imposter syndrome. When does it normally come about? And if you found this helpful, share, and subscribe to my YouTube. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.